works. Let's go to game number 1 here. And this
work at all.
series.
Whatever gets you through it.
Team Expert will be going the Tomb of Spider Queen for game number 1.
I cough in the middle.
Yeah, I do. It's just you know, just bring it out.
Do it again.
That's not again. I can't even do like I can't even do it a consistent like cough at all. Like I just don't know where to put it. So it's a different
It's
syllable.
not really a cough. It's like you start puking. Like you're just like gagging in the middle of the word.
Now you know how I sound, or how you sound when you speak German. Let's go to Tomb, man.
Alter, gleich klatscht es, aber kein Beifall.
Danke.
Bitte. All right. The draft has started, boys, and we are once again on Tomb. It's a map that it's actually interesting because Liquid has been drafting this map quite a lot whenever they got the chance.
Yeah.
Right now we're having them with Tacita as an early ban. Now we talked a bit about Kel'Thuzad, and as Bakery said earlier, a lot of teams are not quite sure how strong he actually is. He's very situational in the sense that you can't draft him if your opponent has a lot of dive that can get to him. So he only fits in compositions where you have a lot of protection for him. This is still one of his best maps, so if on any, this could be a good start for the teams here. But of course, there's also a lot of reworks that come into this patch, the same ones that we had last weekend, where we, for example, saw the resurgence of Leoric as like a staple in a lot of these drafts. And Team Expert, currently a bit hesitant on that first ban.
Mages in general pretty strong on this battleground because they have a place to go to. They have an anchor to be safe, especially in the early game in Siege Upon. Most of them have poke set up too, so they're able to help out the web weavers. And with that being in mind, Team Expert, they open up with a ban on Gul'dan. Team Liquid goes straight into Johanna.
Straight into Johanna, so I could see for Team Liquid a variety of things that they are going to focus on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We have seen a lot of Chromie being played. This is of course pre-patch Chromie, so we are still in a situation where she needs 80 stacks. But we've seen Norok with a lot of aggressive play on Chromie, and that could be something that they are trying to deliver again here, because Norok in particular has really delivered on the hero with his build. So that could be something that we are seeing on their side. Then we already have them with Johanna, so that's already a lot of wave clear potential that exists on their end. If they are managing to draft Rhaegar, if Team Expert is not picking him away, then that would increase their wave clear even more. And we all know that over here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, it is about wave clear, collecting the gems, turning them in, snowballing to 10, and then taking it from there.
Team Expert thinking about if they want to move into that Chromie and take it away from Team Liquid, or if they have a strat they can set up to make sure to pressure her. Uther will be the first pick, and the Chromie will be the second. So we've gotten to a point on Tomb of the Spider Queen where Johanna and Chromie are first pick worthy. And it folds out like this. That's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, so in this setup, we're having Chromie now taken. And that is definitely... I mean, Chromie is a hero that gets even banned on this map. And if you know that Liquid loves to play the hero here, it makes a lot of sense to make sure that you pick her away. Having also Divine Shield as a panic button helps. Liquid is now likely to respond with Rhaegar being picked on their end, since Lightning Bond on level 1 for Rhaegar is just allowing you to get so much additional wave clear on the lane that Rhaegar on a solo lane even can easily defend Web Weaver, for example. So that could be one of the things Liquid is going to be looking for now. And then of course it's all about what the damage output, or where the damage output is going to be coming from.
Could it be the Kel'Thuzad? Give me the Malthael.
Malthael for the bot lane, first of all. Now we've seen them with a few variations here, especially on the level 4 talent. We have lately seen a bit more throwing shade on Battlefield of Eternity, but also on other maps it has been a talent that a lot of teams are starting to rely upon a little bit more, but you can still go into your standard quest talent on 4 as well. For now we also have them with Rhaegar as expected, and now we're heading straight into the bans here. But so far for both of the teams, a pretty solid start into the draft.
Yeah, Greyman as a ban makes sense. He eats Chromie for lunch, can come in on his own flank and get the kill by itself, especially if a time trap is not set up. Especially with that go for the throat, get an engage into an auto attack, a slash, and then you go for the throat, and that Chromie is done for.
Talking about slashing, good ban for Team Liquid would be Genji, depending of course on what they draft for their own backline, but since we already have Uther taken for Team Expert, the two heroes that you're usually worried about are Genji or ETC being picked up by your opponent, since the synergy is quite powerful. So this is one, or those are two options that Team Liquid could be thinking about now, unless of course they are worried about a specific solo laner here.
See if that ban will come in. Anyone that you would be afraid of? Maybe that's Sonya. But nope, there's that Genji.
As I said, Genji would be my go-to hero from the start.
Yeah.
There's a few more. We've been talking about Leoric a bit. I'm not quite sure if you really need to ban him out in this case. I actually don't really think so, but depending on what kind of setup you run, you might want to. Normally, I would say Leoric shines with that Ominous Wrath build even more if you have a double support and single DPS, a hyper carry in your own lineup. So for Liquid, this is still an option, but overall, I don't think there was a need to necessarily ban him out. I'm pretty happy for them with the Genji ban, since Uther Genji, the Dragon Blade with Divine Shield, is just such a powerful tool in teamfights that you should get rid of it if you can. If there's nothing else that stands out to you to the extent where you say, okay, we have to ban this.
Yeah.
That leaves Medivh open, on the other hand. So something to consider. Might not become an issue here for them, but it's a risk that Team Liquid was willing to take. And
both ETC and a Nubrak are up, which I was thinking about a Nubrak for the Malthael, being able to cocoon.
That's definitely a good point. Nubrak with cocoon would be decent. Now, when we're talking about the potential Medivh play, then of course we're always accounting for several players for Team Expert being able to play Chromie, not only ADRD, but with now Tracer taken, it's pretty obvious that we're going to see very likely ADRD on Chromie, Nick on Tracer. So we're currently looking for a bot laner for Curson. For Ethereal Angel, of course. Curson is going to be the one on Uther. That is the only protection for Tracer at this point. So we don't see too many solo heal Tracers in HGC, but that is going to be one of the cases where Nick has to be extremely careful. Don't really expect this Aria to be drafted by
Team Expert.
By Ethereal. I was like thinking about bot lane, if there's any hero that could help out Tracer.
Yeah.
Ethereal? I mean, not really. Nothing really comes to mind where I would say, okay, this is enough support for Tracer that she doesn't have to be afraid. So Nick definitely has to be a little bit less aggressive with this playstyle.
Well, we have the Medivh and Lee picked up for Team Liquid, so we don't get it for ADRD as we would love to see, but instead we get it for Hasu.
Auto attack Lee Ming again. I'm gonna see Norok on that hero. I'm loving it already. It's gonna be a fun one. And yeah, let's see how Team Expert is running out that draft.
Whoa.
We have the double support after all. Alright. They go into Lucio here. I was doubting it a bit, but nope, they actually commit to it. I think it's pretty cool. I didn't really expect them to do it, to be absolutely honest with you, but with Tracer, I like the choice, since Tracer with only a single support is always a bit... It's a bit iffy.
So are we having a Thorough on the Lucio, or ADRD, Nick on the Chromie, and then a Thorough on Tracer?
I would... Actually, I don't know 100%.
Yeah,
They've been experimenting with a couple of plays, but I would say Ethereal takes one of the two healers,
Yeah, okay. We'll have to see how that unfolds, because we have seen a Thorough in the past on that Tracer. He used to be known for it.
They shift around in scrims a bit as well. They have like a certain overlap in heroes, especially if they're going into a second support. But right now, I'm not 100% certain, for example, if a hero picks the support, if he's going to be the one on Uther or the one on Lucio. So that depends a bit. But we have seen the combo with this particular setup already from Zealots, for example, having Uther together with Lucio, and then Lucio goes more into a position where he tries to provide a lot of utility, especially with like the speed boost and trying to chase opponents or giving yourself the chance to escape there. So I'm hyped for that. I'm really excited to see how that exactly is going to work out, because I think Team Liquid has an extremely cool draft. I really think what they have is extremely powerful. Medivh alone is going to be a huge game changer here. And Norok has really excelled even without the protection through Medivh. So I think that he can definitely have a massive, massive impact on this game now if he gets a bit of wiggle room to play with. And with Johanna at the front, Medivh to help him out, and then also Malthael to create some more space, I think Norok is going to have a pretty fun time here.
Well, let's watch Norok as he tries to wiggle his way to victory, taking on Team Expert as we move into Tomb of the Spider Queen in this best of 5 series.
Game on in our best of 5. We have to the left side Team Expert with Curson on Lucio, Bad Benny on Stitches on that front line. Ethereal is playing on Tracer this time indeed, and ADRD is going to take over the second support. He will play Uther with Chromie being played by Nick.
On the right side, in the red, Team Liquid hoping to move up in the standings here. Splendor will be playing the Rhaegar. We'll be having Blumby on Johanna. Darkmok playing Malthael. Hasu will be your Medivh player. And as mentioned, Norok will play Li Ming.
Yeah, so with Li Ming already taken, usually when we're talking about Norok, we're going to have him with a bit more of an auto attack focus. Force armor already taken as the level 4 talent. Usually it's all about the missiles for him. The one talent where he sometimes shifts away from them is on level 7, where Calamity can become an option for him, but that's more or less a personal preference depending on the game. It's actually interesting when he talks about it, how he just thinks, okay, do I really get enough out of Calamity? Will I get those resets immediately so that I can use that several times enough? If not, then he is oftentimes just simply heading into missile talents nearly throughout the entire talent tree, which can be incredibly powerful for him. Cannoneer then also taken later on, and those auto attacks is really something that he spams out. It's a different style of playing Chromie for sure, but for him personally it works. And considering that he's also one of the auto attack players that they have in the lineup, it makes sense to have a very similar playstyle if possible with that hero.
A Charge Splash should become online at level 4, but as we sit at level 1 and move towards 2, our teams are fighting out. We see a throw. Drop in a Pulse Bomb on top of Slender, but we have Hasselhoff dropping the Force Will to negate the damage. Yeah,
Hazu definitely is going to be under a lot of pressure to make sure that Tracer doesn't get these kills, and the protection alone is already going to help a lot with this. But for now, in the early game, the pressure comes mostly from Team Expert. We're having Nick just firing away from that backline, and we all know how annoying Chromie can be in these instances. Once again, coming to play, but Bad Benny is a bit isolated for a second. The problem is with the double support, there's no real way of killing him just yet, since the damage output is not really there, as we see Li Ming at the bottom.
Especially the Devour. Just too many heals in the early game there, as he just stood there, took the damage, auto attacked back, and makes sure to heal back up from his teammates. Now, we have this 2-lane in the bottom side against this Li Ming, and it's Tracer and Uther. Team Liquid's going to have to head down there at some point and help out. Li Ming won't be able to handle that by herself.
Yeah, the thing is also that with Stitches, Malthus is going to be the one who will have to pop off later on. Nice hook here, already launched. Blumby, yeah, has the Iron Skin still available, so they all walk away safely from it. Now Hazops can of course also then provide a few additional portals later on if someone gets hooked. But it's going to be on Malthus to really make that dive in deep and put the pressure on Stitches himself. With a high hit point pool that Stitches has, it is definitely going to be one of the best talents for them. Or one of the best heroes to put the pressure on.
28 gems available for Team Expert, with 10 being turned in. Team Expert has been a little bit more aggressive on the field here compared to Team Liquid, but they've been answering back pretty alright. The Force of Wills have saved both Darkmok and Rhaegar, so we're going to watch Hasselhoff. He'll be the main guy here as we head to that late game. You keep mentioning that Malthael here from Darkmok, and it's not going to be anything that we see too crazy until the late game.
Yeah, and already with Malthael, we also have him with Die Alone now taken as a level 4 talent. So going into neither of the quest talents that he has available here, I also want to highlight once more that we've talked about it already, but Charge Blast has now been picked up by Li Ming. So it's really about that auto attack follow-up damage after you start hitting with those missiles. It's really a style that he personally just prefers, and it's, as we said in the past, super funny to see how he and other Li Ming players are having very energetic discussions about what build is better.
Last time we saw the dominance and the calamity from Mane.
How did Mane phrase it on Twitter? I mean, like a quote from Mane was, "What is this build on Li Ming, Nurok? I thought you moved to Russia, not to North America." So a bit of a heated argument between
a bit harsh.
Yeah.
Slightly there, coming in.
Nurok immediately firing back, saying, "It is the future. You just wait and see, give it a shot." But so far, Mane hasn't really been convinced, but it's really just that auto attacker style that Nurok absolutely loves. If it's going to be enough here, that's a different question, of course. Because right now they are playing against Nick, who just fires like the entire time from that backline, volley after volley, and has been doing extremely well. He's at 25 stacks already with Chromie, which is pretty fast. 4 minutes in, 25 stacks, it's not too bad.
It's pretty good. I think we had 38 stacks last time we saw Chromie, so we're going to see around this time. We also saw, who was it? Jeez. Chris.
Yeah.
He is probably the record setter so far when it comes to finishing that quest here in Europe, as he was just landing those shots like crazy on Dragonshire last week. So we'll keep an eye on that. As 7's about to hit for both of our teams. Neither have been able to really put in a gem. The poke has been a bit too much, as we constantly have Hasselhoff coming in, Nurok as well on the right side, and that Chromie just being consistently annoying.
Yeah, Chromie is going to have some problems maybe even later on when Medivh is going to start really putting the pressure on with those additional portals. So that can be a huge game changer once that Johanna, for example, moves through a portal quite quickly. For Nurok now, we have Calamity taken on level 7. As I mentioned before, he sometimes switches away from it. But the blue web weavers are the first one to descend here. And Team Expert is currently looking good in the standings, but this is of course about who takes that third spot in Europe for the playoffs. And as we play the step ladder system for the playoffs, every single rank that you can gain before the playoffs start means that you have to play one less best of 5 series. So it's super important for both of these teams to have the upper hand in this contest.
Yeah, third place means you only play one best of 5. That's it. You literally get to watch the entire playoff be played, and then you get to react to your opponents that will probably have to reveal some strats in earlier matches. So a great spot to be in. Gives you a great advantage as you head towards BlizzCon. Hang on, Blumby is just taking some damage here on the side. Hasselhoff over the wall will drop the Force Wheel. And Team of Expert pushing in, doing their best here to put some damage on. The Web Weavers get cleared up on the middle and the bottom side. The top, however, is still alive and healthy.
Yeah, also Armor of Faith now taken on level 7 by ADRD. So they have really put... everything just currently goes into Holy Light, every single one. Holy Shock taken on level 4, the Silver Touch on level 1. So with Uther and the double support setup that they currently have here, they are definitely having a bit of a different build here. Level 7 Armor of Faith is not something that we see a whole lot. Normally it's the toss-up between Hand of Protection and Guardian of the Ancient Kings, but with ADRD, of course, we're used to different hero choices and also talent builds, and this is just going to be very visible throughout the game once more.
That makes it harder for Johanna to condemn and get the engage she wants if you're able to stay next to the target, say a Tracer or a Chromie, and the condemn comes out. Uther just gets those heals popping out like crazy. It's actually a pretty interesting pickup, but it does require you to be around that Johanna who's going to try to go in for those condemns.
Yeah, exactly. So that is definitely one of the things that we could see here. It's also going to increase those potential nukes even. But now we have nearly level 10 being hit. And that first Web Weaver wave, of course, helped with it enormously. But Blumby is trying to turn in, gets interrupted, and it doesn't really look like Team Liquid is going to get the turn in before 10 is hit by Expert. And there we have it now. So Putrid Bile is going to be the weapon of choice for Stitches, not going to try and get any isolation comms with the quick Gorge. Team Liquid is hoping for their own 10 so that they can start the turn-in process. But the problem for them is still that Team Expert has now the tools to get a second Web Weaver wave.
Yeah, they do, and they're working towards it as they are at 39. There's the rest of gyms coming in, and Team Expert will have 2 Web Weaver waves. Push again. Top lane should be killed no matter what. It's down to 1 health. Hasselhoff's tried his hardest to keep it alive, but it seems like his efforts will be depleted here soon as that push should be coming in. And the middle fort, low on health too. This should be easily Team Expert opening up the top and middle of the map.
But now we have Disintegrate being chosen. We have also still heroic ability on Johanna. Okay, hold back for a second. Here comes the Blast Shield, and Chromie is down. Nice combo used by Liming immediately, getting the resets and throwing the second one out right away. Great job. Also the portal, of course, once again fantastic. Leyline Seal is being used, and they are making the play for Stitches this time. Tormented Souls has been popped by Darkmog. The synergy not quite there with Hazu. Using the ults at the same time. Could have held that a little bit longer, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the fight itself. Stitches got the Divine Shield, so there was very little room to take him down.
Yeah, still a little bit of an overlap there between Malthael and Medivh.
For later on, they definitely have to fix it. I think for this fight in particular, I wouldn't have changed anything. Ancestral attempt by Splendor, but it's already too late. And even with that kill against Chromie early on, we actually see Experts starting to push this in, and they get the kill against Lim. They get the hook after the Liming kill, and right now we're actually seeing Liquid starting to suffer and dropping quite a few of their gems.
May have also been a dead puppy if we didn't have Blumby come in there and drop down the flashlight there on a Thorough, making sure he's blinded. A Thorough able to rotate to the middle lane, and look at this. After the Web Weavers pop in and a Chromie falling, Team Expert is able to get 3 forts in one swing.
I mean, we talk again about the momentum that you can build up with the second Web Weaver wave, and this is exactly what Expert is doing. This is why it's so important to try with the first Web Weaver wave to snowball towards level 10. Once you can do that, you're guaranteed to have a safe turn-in. Your opponent either has to try and contest it without heroic abilities, which should result in them losing a hero or two, or you will get this, the second turn-in, and then you end up in the situation that Expert is holding now. 1.5 level lead, an extra talent over the opponent, and all the map control that you could hope for.
Team Liquid looking to get back here with their 107 gems they have. With the slowing sands being on the top, Web Weaver and Tracer consistently checking out the bottom one. Team Liquid has not found a spot they can move into to grab that turn-in safely, especially being behind a talent tier. For now, it's all about clearing out waves, floating around, trying to get that experience back, while Team Expert is able to control the field, and they may even make a play here for the boss. In fact, they're running towards it right now.
Blessed Champion now also chosen by Uther. He just basically goes for Holy Light in every
This icon looks similar.
Yeah, it's like, I've seen this before, let's take that again. So yeah, he goes for a full light build at this point. Boss is about to be taken. Now keep in mind that the Touch of Death on Malthael could, against the double support, play a big role in later on team fights, but ideally you want to have your 13-16 before Malthael makes these plays. For now, Boss is left alone, fight about to start, the hook against Splendor. He tries to get close to the portal, doesn't get it. The ley line is a bit too late. Darkmork wants to go in and they're trying to get their kills now, but the Divine Shield is already out on Stitches, and now Darkmork himself finds himself in a lot of trouble.
The sound barrier coming out to make sure that Darkmork can't be too effective with that Tormented Souls, and Team Expert will clean up 2 targets, looking for a 3rd or 4th. With portals constantly coming out, Team Liquid will be able to grab some of the gems that were lost, but not all. They did get a turn-in during this entire duration, so the bottom lane is pushing in slightly, but the fort should be easily defended here if Team Expert gets down there in time.
And also a big impact on the last team fight was thanks to Lucio. Curson was making sure that Rhaegar could not get close enough to the portal to move through, even with Hazorps coming in with a protective shield. Immediately the quick boop pushed Rhaegar back, couldn't reach the portal, and was taken out. So Liquid has the turn-in, but as you already mentioned, they get very little value out of it, and that's a massive problem right now. But at least they're able to claim 13. It's 4 kills against 1 in favor of Team Expert. It's also a significant lead in experience for the team in blue. They have now a 2-level lead over Team Liquid, but Liquid at least has a chance to fight on 13 versus 13 talents in a few seconds.
They will try to get that fight too. As the 13 does hit, Blumby goes in for Bad Benny, starts to get low on health, and it gets worse here for Team Liquid, as Team Expert is 3 gems away from being able to get a turn-in, as they'll have 60 on them. They, of course, have to get the turn-in and drop them off, but still on the spot to get a 3rd Webweaver push happening once again. Constant dancing here in the middle as Team Liquid is trying to find an angle, and they may have found it as Bad Benny is getting low. Yeah,
Bad Benny is low. The Divine Shield is out, and they use it. Here comes also the sound barrier, so 2 big ults used. A quick hook and a push as Darkmork is being pushed out of position for a second. Yep, here's the potentially Blumby falling, but no, Ethereal gets the bomb in, but Hazorps is once again ready to save his teammate. Darkmork, on the other hand, finds himself in trouble, but a good combo from Nurok hits home, but the hook again is gonna deliver. And this is just once more Bad Benny just setting the kills up. Another one against Malthael, and Liquid is pressured farther and farther back.
And Curson continues to control those portals, making it hard for opponents to get away from the fight or even come in for an engage. Team Expert drops off a few of their gems, setting up for level 16 here as they clear out the middle lane and have the turn-in on the bottom side. So here we go, the 3rd turn-in of the game for Team Expert, and now they're playing for keeps.
Yeah, Liquid is currently played against the wall here. This is the problem that you oftentimes see on Tomb of the Spider Queen. If a team falls too far behind, the snowball potential is just fantastic. So Liquid is in a spot where they have to sit tight. They can't move out too far. Their biggest agenda is just try to defend against the Webweavers and then somehow get a turn in or start to get experience. The big thing to realize here is, once that Expert is done with this Webweaver wave, they don't have the gems, and they will not have them for a long time to get another turn-in. So their biggest player on the map is going to be Go for Boss, which allows Team Liquid to either try and contest it, even though they are talent down, or instead get a turn-in. But once again, Splendor is isolated here as the Webweavers are pushing in, and that is a fantastic spot for Team Expert. Blumby recovers some of the gems, but it is another death on the side of Team Liquid, and just at the time where they really need their supporter to help them out.
Wonder having a rough time this game here, getting picked off. Him and Darkmork are 5 the deaths that have already happened here after 6 available that Team Expert has picked off. Being in that front line, getting hooked there, unfortunate for them as this keep just gets focused on completely. Team Liquid has to play safe and not going for an engage. With that hook being around, they have to give the keep easily. Now with Rhaegar back in a couple of seconds, they can make a play to start defending. But already you see Nick setting up, slowing down the top left, Bad Benny controlling the chokes.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Liquid, not at all. The mid-keeper has already fallen, and now Expert is moving in to get a second one. And I mean, this is the dream. That early kill against Rhaegar was fantastic, but here comes Liquid. They're desperate to win a fight right now. They know that they don't have the time to wait. They have lost the keep already. They have to try and save the second one or get a turnaround. Ancestral hits Darkmork. Nick firing away from the backline. Still, here comes Nurok with Liming getting some damage in, but it's not enough, and Malthael is dead again as Ethereal tries to drop Hazobs. He doesn't get the kill against Medivh, but he pushes them back, and now Blumby is down, and that is 60 gems that they just lost. If those are not getting picked up, then Liquid is completely out of hope.
They did not get picked up, and they will disappear. Team Liquid down to only 34 gems when they originally had over 100. Fortunate for them, as the core continues to get focused down, they keep on the bottom side, dig cleaned up, and Catapults are already joining in on the fray here, as they'll be pushing across the middle of the map. Team Liquid in 3 seconds will have their Malthael, but with no Tormented Souls, I don't think they have a defense.
No, this is definitely over. 2 keeps down, Liquid hasn't taken a fort yet. This is just absolutely hopeless. Expert doesn't even have to finish the game now. They can always just fall back and go for boss, but they have the core at 50%, at 40% already, and they are still all sitting there. So they have, oh my god. They're even getting with Pulverize now the setups to potentially get even more kills. Here's the Leyline Seal. Hazobs is doing what he can, but Ethereal now has the option to kill Rega, tries to go for the kill. Medivh somehow saves him, but this isn't over by a long shot. Expert is still pushing this in, and Catapults are joining the fight to drop the core even faster.
Tormented Souls is up in 8 seconds. Sound Barrier's been popped. Team Expert's going to make the call. They're going straight for the core, and they'll get it. A 4-level lead over Team Liquid will net them a 1-0 win here in this best-of-5 series.
2 of the Spider Queens now on.
Yeah.
Well done by Expert, running with the advantage whenever they had to, getting the first turn in, and importantly, denying the turn into Liquid. Liquid was trying to turn in. They had Johanna in position to get the first Threadweaver wave before level 10 hit for Expert. And that was the moment when they had the interrupt ready. Liquid had to fall back since Expert grabbed their 10. They got the second turn in, and with the second turn in, they lost Chromie right at the start, and then they still got a double kill. And thanks to the double kill, they could eliminate all 3 forts, and all of a sudden they had a 1.5 to 2 level lead shortly after with a talent advantage, and that's something that Liquid never recovered from.
Yeah, that composition was all about denial. Denying the turn-ins, denying portals with the Lucio dropping around, the Sound Barrier popping out when Tormented Souls would pop up just to make sure that damage would not be effective damage. Great play there by Team Expert, coming out with a solid team comp in game number 1 and just putting Team Liquid down. Now, obviously going into game number 2, we'll have a different type of game here. I'm expecting probably some Cursed Hollow coming up pretty soon for our team. This is a battleground that Team Liquid has been focusing on pretty heavily in the last couple weeks.
Liquid needs to be a bit more aggressive there, but it was rough in this game. The double support made it really difficult, especially Curson with the control of the portals. Made a lot of the plays that Liquid was trying to set up even more difficult. And Hazobs did a fantastic job on Medivh mitigating the damage that Tracer was trying to push out. But you have to deal with Tracer, who is all in your face the entire time, and that creates so much space for Chromie in the back that Nick could do whatever he wanted. He was one single time he was in a bad spot, that's when he got killed, and outside of that there was space created for him, he got the damage out, and let's not forget that also Bad Benny with one good hook after another just delivered. He got the hooks in, and they immediately got kills afterwards. Malthael died, he died 4 times in this game, so he was definitely in a really bad spot here. The one who tries to engage, but every single time when he jumps on Stitches, has a quick Divine Shield or the Sound Barrier, and then that was it.
Well, speaking of supports, Hospital mentioned in the interview that we need to keep an eye on Curse. Let's go and look at both the supports right now for our teams. Team Expert and, of course, Team Liquid. Splendor versus Curson. Now, a little bit more aggressive damage here from Curson, but he's been quietly one of the best supports we have in the league.
I mean, I have talked about Curson like 2 months ago, maybe. I can remember a time when Curson was just constantly feeding and throwing games for his team. That was in 2016. Back then, when you looked at Team Expert, he was the weak point. He was really the one where you could point at a single game. I still remember when there was one specific match that I will never really forget, when he played on Battlefield of Eternity, and he was just constantly throughout the entire series hardcore griefing. And he was really the guy where you looked at Team Expert and you said, okay, once they get rid of him, they are going to be so much better. Since then, he has stepped it up to a point where he is carrying the team at times, and it's super impressive. It's a very similar development of what we've seen with Fnatic and Smexy.
Smexy, yeah.
It's exactly the same thing, basically. So in case that you don't know, there was a time way ago when Smexy was in a similar spot where he was the weak point of his team, even to an extent where people were thinking, okay, does Fnatic have to drop him here to really progress as a team to finally start winning tournaments? And Smexy, instead of just despairing anything, he just took all of that criticism too hard. He buckled down, and he is now one of the best, if not the best support that we have in Europe here. And with Curson, you have a similar development where he just said, okay, I need to step it up, and he did. So it's super impressive, the path that he has taken and how much he has improved. So I can only echo what Hazop said there, and we've seen it in the stats here.
We had a director in the past. Opportunities for greatness. Take those moments and, of course, learn from them. And we see that there with Curson. Let's go ahead and get ready for game number 2. The battleground will be Battlefield of Eternity Expert, picking it up and moving straight into it, which does mean Team Liquid will have the first pick on game 2.
Yeah, so I want to see Liquid a bit more aggressive. As I said before, they look pretty solid right now, and it's something that Bakery has talked about too. Bakery and Dignitas, they scrimmed a lot with Team Liquid, and in those series, Liquid looked extremely powerful. They looked a bit more as the Team Liquid of old, but of course we all know that they oftentimes have these inconsistency issues. So if they can come back into that playstyle and also that mindset where they say, hey, we are the ones who are going to dictate the pace of the game. If they can force that onto Expert, I think they have a good shot here, but they need to come out swinging. And on the first map, that didn't really happen. So on this one, which is very team fight focused, I want to see Liquid to really come out aggressive and try to dominate from the start.
This is one of those battlegrounds that confidence is a major key of knowing when you want to go for the Immortal, when you want to play defensively. The calls need to be on